these trends are things that I'm seeing everyone talking a lot about in Silicon Valley. They're really, a lot of them are quite on the cutting edge, but some of them are things that any of us can adopt into our own philosophies, our own businesses, our own careers, even today. Let's play a game. Entrepreneur or employee. So for this game, is anyone here familiar with Tinder? Don't be shy. Don't be shy. I know you're all familiar with Tinder. Okay, so for those who are not familiar with Tinder or pretending not to be, you see a picture of someone and you're like, are they cute or am I interested? And you like swipe yes or no if you want to meet them. So we're gonna play this game and I want you to tell me if you think the person in the slide is an entrepreneur or an employee. Okay, that's an easy one. Easy, we're gonna start off easy. All right, entrepreneur or employee? Entrepreneur, okay, very good, thank you. All right, we're warming up a little here. Oh, okay, this is a harder one. Okay, the guy in the suit, is he just like living the life? Is he an entrepreneur or an employee? What do you guys think? He is an employee for a brand new startup that just launched in San Francisco called manservant.com. Manservant.com is where women can hire a guy to compliment them, to come around with them, compliment them every 15 minutes on the dot, or they're fired, hold your purse, pour you champagne. So that is what this guy is doing. Okay, all right, look at the woman with the marijuana. What do we think? I agree. I think she's an entrepreneur in Colorado, capitalizing on the new trend of the tech industry in Colorado. All right, and here's the last one. This one's hard. A woman enjoying her retirement or an Uber driver. Okay, whoa, don't get in that car. Now, as you can see though, the lines are getting more and more blurred every day. It's really hard to know where being an employee begins, being an entrepreneur ends, and it's no longer that you have to choose between going to work for someone else or being an entrepreneur. You no longer have to quit your job and go to a basement and live on Red Bull and Twinkies in order to consider yourself an entrepreneur. So that leads me into our first trend, the age of the entreployee, because now there's so many ways to be entrepreneurial, even inside a big company. Some of you may have heard of something called 20% time at Google. Now, at Google, they do this exciting thing where you're allowed to actually spend 20% of your work week working on a total passion project. You can do a philanthropy, a startup, any idea. You can use your corporate devices, you can use the micro kitchen, you can use the premises, anything that you want, and you're allowed to work on your dream project. Now, this actually ends up in the end being great for Google, because a few things that have come out of 20% time are Google AdWords, Gmail, a lot of the things that we use Google for. There's a company called 3M that also gives their employees 20% time. The Post-it note came out of 20% time. So imagine what happens when you give your employees the opportunity to be entrepreneurial and actually kind of come up with startups during their work week. I also recently checked on LinkedIn. The fastest growing new career that's out there is called social media manager. It's also called sometimes evangelist, guru. Yes, I see a social media manager in the house. Now, this is a really cool position for someone who's incredibly entrepreneurial but wants to work inside an established brand, because that person is responsible for knowing every single new technology that's hitting the market and how to use it. They're basically working 24 hours a day because you have to interact with people, right? You are on the front lines of all communication. So it's kind of hard to explain though to your friends what being a social media manager is. Your friends might think it looks something like this. And your parents probably think it looks something like this. And the reality of what it looks like is more like this. Because you are 24/7 on the front lines, all the time, reacting to customers. If they have a problem with your product, you're the one who's interacting with them. It's really a total full-time job and a great position for someone who's very entrepreneurial inside a company. Now, in order to be entrepreneurial, you have to hire entrepreneurial thinking young people. And where are a lot of the young people today? They are on Snapchat. Now, Snapchat is where you can send messages that vanish. They self-destruct in about 10 seconds. A lot of companies are now recruiting through Snapchat. So basically they say, you know what, we have this job open, impress us in 10 seconds before your photo vanishes, and if you impress us, you can come in for a job interview. So, for example, you know, if it might look something like this, you're like, ooh, you know, I'm gonna really impress them with my doodles. And then, poof, gone. So hopefully you were able to make an impression in that 10 seconds. Companies like Grubhub do a lot of hiring through Snapchat, and even Marriott is doing hiring through, they actually created a video game that simulates what it's like to run a hotel. And if you score high enough on the video game, they invite you in for an interview. So lots of really cool things going on in the space for recruiting very entrepreneurial people inside your company. And the great thing for all of us is it means that, again, not everyone has the risk tolerance to drop everything and go move to Silicon Valley in a basement and start a company. Now there's so many more opportunities to be entrepreneurial. So that leads us into our next trend. I'm gonna walk over to our props table over here for a moment, and because I want to read you one of my most favorite quotes. Our next trend is called thinking like a media company. We will never have a perfect world, but it's not romantic or naive to work toward a better one. I read that on the side of a Chipotle bag yesterday. Now, in all honesty, Chipotle, they didn't have to do anything cool with the side of their bag. I totally would have eaten a delicious burrito there, even if it was just in a plain bag. But they took the opportunity to commission some works of literature. Some of the bags have art. They decided, you know what, why not make this plain bag we have into an opportunity for content and to be a media company? And lots of brands are taking that philosophy because we are all brands today. Every single one of us is a media company. If you connect to even one person online who cares about anything you have to say, you're a media company, and so you need to start thinking about content. One of my favorite brands that I think is just kicking butt at this is Red Bull. Now, here's a video of the longest free jump from, I think, outside the Earth's atmosphere, practically from space. And you would expect this is something that you might see on ESPN. But no, this was on Red Bull, on all of their social media pages, streamed live. It was the biggest live streamed event, I think, in the history of the internet when they did this. And suddenly, you start to see this interesting phenomena where Red Bull is getting more viewers for things than ESPN is. And how does that change the world when you have kind of a consumer packaged good company that's actually turning into a huge media company and the kind of reach that they can have there? You also have a lot of brands that are really injecting some humor and spirit and fun, commenting on pop culture. Did anyone watch The Sound of Music live on NBC about a year ago? I know, I love Broadway, obviously, thank you. So you wouldn't not probably expect DiGiorno pizza to come out the winner in that night, but here they did. So let's everyone sing together. Dough, a crust, an unbaked crust. Ray, a guy that likes pizza. Me, a pizza liked by a guy named Ray. Fa, no idea what fa is. So, LA, a city. Okay, it kind of falls apart there. But you get the point. They immediately had 1,000 retweets. I mean, I took this screenshot really early on, and it was just so funny what they were doing. So don't be afraid as a brand to really get in there and comment on pop culture and be timely and topical and fun. Here's Arby's at the Grammys. They're like, hey, Pharrell, can we have our hat back? Hashtag Grammys. Funny, it doesn't even, it doesn't have to be like super thought out or anything. And this is, just like all you need is a really funny entrepreneurial social media team who's out there on the front lines coming up with great content. The other thing that brands are starting to do is experiment with new tech and new gadgets. So here's Diane von Furstenberg. This is her New York Fashion Week show. She actually had her models put on Google Glass and walk the runway. They live streamed the show so you could get the experience of what it's like to walk the runway in real time. I think she had over 2 million people tune into this live stream from 100 different countries so that they could get the first look at what it was like. Now, again, everything, like I said, is complicated. Google Glass just announced, I think a few days ago, that they're shutting down the program and not selling. So on one hand, it's awesome for a company like DVF to try something new and get PR and innovation. On the other hand, you always take risks anytime you try out a new technology, because here they are, maybe that was a distraction, maybe those were resources they pulled towards that they didn't put towards something else, and now here Google Glass is not in service anymore. So again, it's always a catch-22 when you're thinking about new technologies. Also, I talked before about how each and every one of us is a media company. That's a great thing for so many of us because we can all build our brands. You don't have to wait for someone else to make your career for you. You can say, you know what, I'm gonna start blogging a lot, I'm gonna post engaging content on Twitter, I'm gonna be my own brand. Now, if you're smart, which I think everyone in this room is, otherwise you wouldn't be here at this tech conference, you could use that to your advantage. But unfortunately, 99.9% of the population use that to do like humble brags and overshare about like potty training with their kids. Or like this dude who's like, that awkward moment when you go to bodybuilding.com and the graphic on the left is you. You're like, oh, thank you for that like not so humble brag about yourself. Like we all have that friend who's like, why do every time I go out I get hit on? Oh my God, it's so annoying. So don't be that person. Use being a media company to your advantage in a good way. The next trend is, this is one of my favorites. I love shopping, obviously, and there's so many innovations that are going into reinventing retail. So I hope it's not too forward of me, but I want all of us to go on a little trip together. Okay, let's not stay there. That does not look like a good place to stay. Meh, still doesn't look that great. Okay, that place looks awesome. I totally want to stay there. That is a hotel in Sydney, Australia. Let's see how much it costs. Yikes, that is not good, except it is not in money, that is in Instagram followers. That hotel does not actually even take money for that room. If you have 10,000 or more Instagram followers, you stay for free at the 1888 Hotel in Sydney because they think that your marketing power means more to them than your money. Okay, does anyone here in this room have more than 10,000 Instagram followers? Woo! Yeah, all right. Awesome. We're going to the 1888 Hotel on you. Although, judging from, let's see, how many people? I think we're gonna need at least 2 rooms, right? Now, if you go to, this is a really fun hotel. I actually recently had the opportunity to stay there. They have like selfie spots all over. They have like a walking Instagram tour of the city that you can do. It's really clever. So now I want to take you on Randi's Retail Roundup, where cash is not the currency. So first, we're gonna stop today at the Bird's Eye restaurant, where, you guessed it, cash is not the currency. If you take a photo in this UK-based restaurant and show it to your waiter that you've tweeted or Instagrammed your meal is comped at that restaurant. And there, again, their thought is that your free marketing for them is worth more than what you would have paid for the lunch. But let's see all that. Now we're fed, we want to go buy a few things. Let's pop over to the Marc Jacobs Tweet Shop. Marc Jacobs Tweet Shop has pop-ups in a lot of major cities in the US, and now in this shop, all you have to do is take a photo of something, share it online, noticing a theme here, and show it at the cash register, and then you get something fancy. Like maybe you want that perfume, or a handbag, or a car, or Channing Tatum. Okay, maybe Channing Tatum is not included in the Marc Jacobs tweet shop, but a girl could dream, right? So let's say you say to me, you're like, but Randy, this is totally not applicable because I don't have Twitter or Instagram. Ooh, you're mysterious. You're not online. I like it, but that's okay. You can still come shopping with me in our shopping trip, because next we are going to go to the Merit Shop, where you don't pay with your cash or your tweets, you pay with your talent. So let's take a look at some of the things they have on the Merit Shop. A nice new iPod Shuffle. A cool pair of gloves. What? Sold out? Oh my goodness. All right, but luckily on the Merit Shop, you can see what talent earned someone that pair of shoes. So let's take a look at the talent that someone had to do to get this pair of shoes. I bet it's really great.
Hello everyone, so this is my top skill, and I'm gonna teach you today how to make the honk sounds.
All right, so that was a great talent. Okay, I want someone here to demonstrate a talent to me that they would do in the Merit Shop. You could be double jointed, a bird call, can you talk in a different language? Someone here's gotta have a party trick to demonstrate for the Merit Shop. Is Mary Spio in the house? Mary? Do we see Mary? Uh-oh. Okay. Wait, no? Okay, Mary. Okay, once Mary gets, Mary! Woo! All right, let's hear it for Mary, because Mary told me yesterday that she is an accomplished hip-hop dancer. So we're gonna see some of Mary's moves for really quick, because this is the Merit Shop. This is the Merit Shop. You are gonna show us some moves, and then you're gonna earn a copy of Dot, my children's book. So, let's take the stage, Mary. Woo, go Mary! Yeah, go Mary! Woo! Yeah, you guys, go yeah! Mary, you're awesome! Go in the middle, go in the middle. You're amazing. I'm supposed to see you. Yeah! Yeah! Woo! Go Mary! All right, we'll stop embarrassing Mary. Yes, Mary earned the book. Wow, that takes a lot of bravery to get up there, so a round of applause for Mary. She's like, I cannot get off the stage fast enough. She's like, peace out. But luckily, okay, we're not done with our shopping still, because let's all envision a world where you can shop without ever having to see another human being or deal with them, even if you're in a store. So you walk into Hointer and you're like, oh my God, I love these jeans. And you scan your phone over them, and do you have to even touch the jeans and bring them to the dressing room? No, you don't even have to touch them. A robot will bring them to the dressing room for you. And if you're in the dressing room and you love them, again, all you have to do is scan your phone over, and the next day they'll be delivered to your home. So now you can have an entire shopping experience without even making eye contact or speech with another human being. And finally, let's say all of this shopping is getting you like super exhausted. Well, luckily, Dewey Egberts has partnered with a bunch of airports to install kiosks where if you walk by them and you yawn, it will dispense coffee for you for free. So there you go. Now we can all just like walk around yawning all the time, getting free coffee. So thank you for joining me on the Retail Roundup, and let's give one more round of applause for Mary hiding backstage now. Woo, we love you, Mary. You can even even get things like plane tickets, like my JetBlue ticket that I got out to California. Now, I needed to have my brother buy that for me. Now JetBlue gives away tons of tickets on social media, and so do a lot of brands. So this is a really fun way to reward some of your best customers, is by trying to think of other ways that people can be valuable to you in your business, not just for their money. So the next trend, and we're gonna get a little prop out for this one too. I took the liberty of writing a nursery rhyme for you guys today. Because this trend is about starting them early with tech. As we all know, if anyone has young kids, kids earlier and earlier and earlier are learning how to code. You see like 2-year-olds on iPads and iPhones. And for me, again, this is a very complicated trend. Because on one hand, you look at the stats around women in engineering. At a lot of these companies, it's less than 15% of even the employee base. At most big tech companies are women. Women are earning much less still on the dollar to men, and even though women comprise almost 60% of college graduates today, they're still under 10% of graduates in engineering programs. So on one hand, I think it's very important to teach your kids tech literacy, especially our young girls. On the other hand, we also want to make sure that children get out there and play like normal children, that they're not just burying their heads in an iPhone or a laptop the whole time. So I've written a nursery rhyme for you today. Eeny, meeny, miny, mode, teach your toddler how to code. Give them Primo, Ludos, Tinker, and they'll be a techno-thinker. Tinker will help them to program computers through robots and dragons and third-person shooters. Primo and Ludos use tiles and blocks to teach basic coding right out of the box. They're not yet released, but they're sure to be hip. So order yours on Kickstarter and it might even ship. Eeny, meeny, miny, mode. Teach your toddler how to code. Think of all the tongues they'll speak. Who needs English? Teach them geek. Roboticy gives them a robot to rule. Write code to command it. That sounds pretty cool. Play-I does the same, and its robots are cute. Who doesn't want playmates that you can reboot? Mattel offers kids the Aptivity seat because, you know, imagination is tray obsolete. Eeny, meeny, miny, mode. Teach your toddler how to code. Think of all the killer apps that they could have instead of naps. Uh-oh, no, don't get rid of the naps. Heads Up is suspiciously close to taboo, but Ellen endorsed it, so Hasbro won't sue. The Bank of Mom teaches kids how money grows, and think of the sanctions that you can impose. But Junior will join the esteemed Technorati if only you buy him this awesome iPoddy. Eeny, meeny, miny, Matt. Sorry, what the hell is that? Yep, that thing is real in all its vainglory, but still, it exhibits the point of my story. Kids should learn to program, and tech is just swell, but still, they need sunshine and free play as well. You have to decide what is best for your child, so give them some tech, but please don't get too wild. The end. So start them early, but don't be too crazy. Oh, the maker movement. This is a really fun one because anyone can now make something, and thanks to all the tech geeks out there, you can have like shops and all of your wares sold all around the world. So, you know, I don't want to brag or anything, but I made this shoebox guitar backstage. It's pretty amazing. I've already sold 15 of them on Etsy while we were here. It's practically a Stradivarius, don't you think? But in all seriousness, there are some amazing things going on with the maker movement, especially in 3D printing. So let's cue some actual good music. And Here's a kayak that was built entirely through a 3D printer, just printed a kayak. Here's some shoes that were made entirely on 3D printers. An iPhone case that was printed. Shoes with an iPhone case built into them, printed on a 3D printer. So there you go. And now I want to cue some more inspirational music in a second, because 3D printers, they're starting to get more and more accessible. It used to be that 3D printers were thousands and thousands of dollars, not accessible to anyone. Now they're coming down in price. The cheapest model, I think, right now is $600 and falling. And you can actually start to imagine a world where you could go on a vacation where you don't even have to pack a suitcase. You just email yourself some files, and when you get there, you can like print out your wardrobe and print out everything you need on your trip. So let's cue some more inspirational music. There's a company in China that's 3D printing houses. They can print 20 of them every single day on this huge printer. And Berea Pasta Company is actually creating 3D food printers that you can actually 3D print pasta in any shape. So now you can start to imagine what this means in the developing world for people that don't have housing, or to end hunger. On the other hand, though, everything is complicated, as I said, because you can also 3D print handguns. This was an online project that you don't need a permit. All you need is a 3D printer, and you can print your own gun and bullets. So again, we live in this world where tech is amazing, but also really complicated. But I don't want to end on that note, so back to inspirational. You can 3D print all of these organs. It's starting to be so amazing. They actually have 3D printed ears that hear better than our ears and grow their own cartilage. How amazing is that? And now most of us have probably heard of Etsy. It's an online marketplace where you can find anything from like the weird and wonderful. It's basically like attending a crafts fair from all over the world. So let's look at a few things that you can get on Etsy. Cool chairs, cool blankets, Dr. Who chocolates, earrings, a tidy whitey bag, a unicorn pig hat, or a customized leather backpack for your dog, because really, who doesn't want that? Also, you know, we used to have Renaissance fairs that we went to and got all dressed up Renaissance-like, but now there are maker fairs all over, where people basically come, they invent things, they bring their children. It's just this amazing celebration of kind of garage and backyard inventors and makers, showcasing everything they're doing with 3D printing, robots, drones. I really encourage you to go to an event like this. It's really very, very cool. So again, so many exciting things happening with the maker movement, but everything is definitely very complicated when it comes to that. And I'd like to end saying that every sound effect that you've heard in the past few minutes while I was talking about this trend was made on 3D printed instruments. And this band is entirely playing on 3D printed instruments that you're seeing. The violins, the guitars, everything in that band was 3D printed. So slightly, maybe like one step up from my shoebox guitar that I made backstage, but not very much better. Next trend that I want to talk about, obviously virtual reality, the reason that we're here today. I just came back from the Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas, and virtual reality was really just on the top of everyone's mind there. The Oculus booth there, I think, had a line just around the entire convention center, like football fields. And there were some just really, really cool demos. I know most of you have, I encourage you, there are some cool demos right outside where you can actually put on one of the headsets and see. But in case you haven't had the opportunity, the headsets allow you to be in an incredibly immersive atmosphere where you can look up, look to the side, look behind you, and the picture travels around with you forever. But now remember, I mentioned 20% time at Google. Well, someone said, okay, well, the Oculus headset, that's not really affordable or accessible to everyone, so they created Google Cardboard. It's like a $20 or $25 kit. It arrives, you fold it yourself very easily, and you just stick your smartphone into it, and suddenly, voila, you have your own VR headset. And there's all kinds of fun apps that they have on these headsets. But what really struck me is that it all kind of goes back to, like, remember these? The Viewmaster? I totally had one of those as a kid, and I was like, I had like kind of like an early Oculus before it was cool. Now all of a sudden here's Oculus like raising $2 million on Kickstarter and then being bought by Facebook for $2 billion very quickly after. But lots of really cool companies doing interesting things. I came across a company called Jaunt, that actually puts you in the middle of a movie. So you can choose if you want horror movie. It actually starts with you being kidnapped, and then you have to find your way out of the movie. Really spooky stuff. They also have a World War II movie that they're making where you're in the center of the battle and you need to fight your way out. So just really, I mean, if you can imagine the immersive experiences that exist. But back to the Google Cardboard, I actually have one at home and I was showing it to my son. Pixar and Motorola teamed up, so there's a lot of opportunity for brands in VR too. So the two brands, they teamed up and they made this really cool one called Windy Day, where you can actually imagine if the phone was inside your headset. It's a little mouse chasing his hat around on a windy day, and the hat blows around. It might blow behind you, that you have to look around. It might go up, you can see the sky, down. Different characters come by. You can really see this immersive world, and that's such a fun way even to share virtual reality with a young child. They also have a really fun game where it's as if you're holding a basket under your chin and people throw fruit at your face and you have to capture it in the basket. So that's fun to see someone like, you know, with the headset on, like not knowing that you're watching them playing the fruit basket game. But again, everything is complicated. Here was an online project that was actually a full-on tactile VR suit where you can experience what it is like to actually kill someone, and you feel what that's like to shoot someone. So again, this is obviously very complicated because this escalates the idea around violent video games and the debate around that to a whole new level when you can actually kind of get that real experience and feel what it's like and have kids accessible to that degree of really just being in a violent situation like that. But luckily, most of the instances around virtual reality that I'm excited about are in healthcare. In a lot of spaces like that, I'm really interested for real estate. If you can envision an empty plot of land and just say, okay, let me show my clients what their home on this plot of land could look at. They could actually walk through the house, even though it's not built yet. On the healthcare side, they're actually able to correct phobias. So if you have an extreme phobia of getting up here on this stage and speaking with me, through virtual reality, at first you could practice your speech for one person. Then you could practice it again for 2 in your eyes, then 10, then a whole audience. You could put everyone in their underwear, literally, if you wanted, and practice your speech. They're able to really make a lot of progress with curing PTSD through virtual reality. They have cured lazy eye through virtual reality. Just really amazing, all the things that can and will be done here. So I'd love if you can tweet me at Randi Zuckerberg something that you want to see virtual reality used for. I would love to sign and give away some more copies of my book later. Next trend is around life logging. We now live in this world where all of our devices are kind of smart devices. They all track, they send us tons of info over the day. Literally every minute of our day is logged. Probably most of us have some kind of a Fitbit, fuel band, activity tracker that we're tracking our steps in our day with. I know I kind of obsessively have my Fitbit and check the steps. So I'd like to, it's been a while since I checked my Zucker log. So I'm gonna put it on speakerphone and we can all check it together. Oops, or not, maybe we won't check it together. Okay, we're not going to check the Zucker log together. Well, it was super cute, and so sorry that you guys are going to miss the Zucker log, but basically it was a whole reenactment of all of the information that happens over the course of my day. I think it told me that my dog was like running out of the house and attacking a little boy who had a cheeseburger, and oh gosh, and like getting all that information. So now, it used to be if you were cold and you wanted to save some money on your heating bill, you might do something like this. But now, thanks to the Nest thermostat, it actually can learn your behaviors and actually automatically adjust from your smartphone to save you money on your heating bill because it learns what to do if you're home or if you're not home. With our children, we used to have to kind of like put them on leashes disguised as cute backpacks. You know, we're like, hey. Now, though, you can give your child a GPS wristband, and at any moment of the day, you can know exactly where they are, or if they've ventured out of their preschool, their daycare, wherever they're supposed to be. With pets, they don't even have the opportunity to get lost anymore, even if they wanted to, because now you can put kind of a GPS chip or collar on your dog that sends you text messages all day of where your dog is. You can even get messages on like your dog hasn't moved for 3 hours. Like, do you want to tell your dog to get some exercise? And actually like tells you all of this. So now we're at this interesting thing where any of our devices can be a smart device. Do we need or even want that much information? Is that much information overload even entirely useful to us? We used to sit in, boring chairs. Kings sit in slightly less boring chairs, but not that one. And here is a device, the Dharma, that actually is a seat cushion that tells you during the day to sit up straight if your posture isn't good. So literally now, I see a few people sitting up straighter now that we're talking about that. But so literally every single thing that we have can track, can give us information, can log our lives. Dance break! All right. We're gonna come back to that dance break later, don't you worry. Trend 8, the new frontier, and the new frontiers are, well, when I hear the word frontier, I don't know about you guys, this is what I used to think of. I should not have tried to ford that river with the 2 pounds of squirrel meat that they let me take. Anyone here familiar with the Oregon Trail? Yes, best game ever. Okay, but in all actuality, when I talk about the new frontiers, I'm going to talk about education and, hold on, you're going to have to wait on the edge of your seats. I'll tell you the other one in a sec. Okay, everyone, pop quiz time. But don't worry, we didn't need to study for anything. Do you like human interaction? Yes or no? Thank you, thank you. Do you enjoy learning new things? Okay. And where do you like to learn new things? At home, in a classroom, or in a cloud of skepticism? See, thank you. Now, luckily, you can learn new things from virtually anywhere. You can learn any new skill. Here's a site called Skillshare that will teach you anything from how to prepare oysters to how to write a screenplay online. All kinds of free courses. Similarly, Code Academy, very self-explanatory, will teach you how to code, even if you're a total beginner at coding. And here is Khan Academy, which I love. This is me learning middle school biology. Hi, Mom, my great education. But now anyone, anywhere in the world, even if you don't have access to a school, you just need access to a phone, and suddenly you can get a full education online, which is really amazing. On the downside, a lot of these stats have shown that when it's free, people don't follow through. They have to have a little money, a little skin in the game. So here's a site, Pop Expert, where you can actually pay to take one-on-one courses with someone anywhere in the world. You want to learn how to play ukulele from a ukulele master somewhere else? You can pay to have one-on-one lessons. You can take language lessons. You can learn any skill. Even if you want to get fit, here is a bike, the Peloton, where it's actually in your living room, but you're live in a spin class. with millions of people. You're sitting there and the instructor will actually talk to you and shout you out and be like, Randy, you're pedaling slower than you did in your last class yesterday. Like, pick it up. Or, wow, you did 5 classes this month. Congratulations. And you can actually feel like you're in a live spin class with other people even when you're in your home. So lots of exciting things going on there. The other frontier that I want to mention is healthcare, because that is just so exceptional. I know we just heard about healthcare and the trends. Now, it used to be that this was healthcare online. Yeah, you check WebMD and you're like, I have a red bump, and it's like, oh, you either have measles or a tumor. That's it. Those are the only 2 possible things that could be. And you're feeling terrible, and like you have to get yourself together and go out and infect other people in the world. But now, telemedicine is such a huge trend. Sites like Doctor on Demand actually allow you to see a doctor for something like $40 if you're traveling. If it's the middle of the night, they can diagnose you and prescribe medication for you. You can also get all kinds of hookups for a smartphone. You can get kind of stethoscopes, blood pressure monitors. Here is an otoscope. You could actually do an ear exam on a screaming child in the middle of the night without taking them to the ER. It guides you through how to do an ear exam, and then a doctor will immediately look at the images and tell you if you need antibiotics or if you'll be okay until the next day. So really groundbreaking things here. NeuroTrack actually uses visualizations to see if you're going to come down with Alzheimer's disease in 3 to 5 years and start doing things to prevent that in advance. And Google recently partnered with Novartis to develop a contact lens for diabetics, which measures your blood sugar over the course of the day. The chip in here is smaller than a piece of glitter, and the antenna is thinner than a piece of human hair. So pretty amazing when you think about all of this. So I'm glad, it seems we've come a very, very long way from this. I don't always use WebMD, but when I do, I have cancer. The most interesting man in the world. Okay, we're almost there, guys. There are 2 trends left between us and happy hour. So for this trend, I am going to gamify my day, which means that I need your help to do it, okay? So here are the rules. If I ramble, which I do tend to do a lot, we need to shout, move on, okay? You need to help me because I gotta get through this day in like 3 minutes. If I say gamification, because that's what all the investors want to fund today, you gotta say cha-ching. And when I finish my day, you have to cheer really wildly, mostly because I love hearing applause. Okay, so remember, what are you gonna do if I like start to ramble and not move on? All right, and if I say the word gamification? Okay, so let's start. So I have my checklist of my day. Thank you, okay. I was hoping to get a good nap. So I'm sleeping and, oh no. Oh my gosh, the alarm goes off. But luckily there is gamification for my alarm, because this kind of alarm, if I hit snooze and go back to sleep, it donates money to charity. But let's say, oh, cha-ching, you guys got that already, okay. But let's say that is not even motivation enough. Here is an alarm that actually donates to your anti-charity. So if you, let's say, it's like the, bringbackthemorseCode.com every time that I hit snooze or I don't make my goals. Okay, so then I get up and it's time to go to the scale, the least favorite part of the day. So I'm gonna step on the scale, but this is a scale that tweets your weight. So I get the hell off of that scale, because why would anyone want to buy a scale that tweets your weight? I have no idea, but it exists. Holy crap. Okay, so now I'm like, oh my god, I have got to go running because that was not pretty. So, all right, so we're gonna go running. And this is the Nike Plus app that when I update to Facebook that I'm going for a run and anyone clicks like, it applauds for me in my ear while I'm running. So, gamification. Yay. Okay, so I'm running And I see, okay, woo, everyone's liking it. Go, Randy, go, Randy, go, Randy. Yeah, go, Randy, go, Randy, go. Okay, phew, thank you. I thought I was gonna be running forever there. Okay, but now I try a different app called, oh gosh, sorry, we are totally behind on this. Okay, zombies. Suddenly I switched to a new app and zombies are chasing me in my ears while I'm running. And, okay, thank you. Whew. Wow, that is some dedication to gamification. Thanks, okay. But let's say that still isn't motivation enough for me. This is, thank you. Now, if I don't work out, thank you. If I don't work out, it will tell all my friends that I didn't work out through Gym Shamer. It'll humiliate me. So I go home and my kids are there. Oh my God, they're doing chores. They're such amazing kids. And I can apply gamification to my children's chores, because through this game, my kids can actually earn points for doing chores. So I have such amazing children. So now it's time for date night. This is one of my favorites. You can actually, by the way, use this app. It's called Boundin, and each of your partners can put a finger on your phone and it guides you through a ballroom dancing lesson. So it's actually a very, very nice app. And I'm going to close out my day by doing some laundry. Except this is the bike washing machine, and the faster that I do, the faster I pedal, the faster my laundry gets done. So this is basically just an average Saturday night in my house, yay. All right, and I have finished my day, which means... Thank you! I'd like to thank the Academy. So I have just one final trend before I wrap up, and I want to talk to you about unplugging, because I've talked about kind of 9 of the most amazing technology trends that I've seen. But again, I think it's really important that all of us take time to also have some balance in our lives and find the time to unplug. So when was the last time that anyone here was without their phone for more than 24 hours? I'm sure you can barely remember it. And so one of my favorite quotes by Arthur C. Clarke: "Any sufficiently developed technology is indistinguishable from magic, but there is such a thing as too much magic." And these following apps have really showed me that we are in desperate need of a digital detox as a society. The breakup app, which will actually, lest you have a conversation with someone you've been dating for a while to break up with them, auto-generates a breakup text based on the seriousness of the relationship and why you're breaking up. The Pro app, also, lest you put any effort into your relationship, will actually auto-generate messages and send them for you. Like, hey babe, how was your day? Like, without you even having to do anything. Like, it will just be in a relationship for you. Yeah. It's a pretty funny one. Or the W, because nothing says true love like hiring a $3,000 social media wedding concierge to come up with a hashtag and live tweet your wedding for you. So this shows me we are in desperate need of a digital detox as a society. And there's a whole trend and a movement around this. In fact, there are now hotels that will actually lock away your devices when you check in. Like, it used to be 2 years ago, if you went to a hotel and they had no Wi-Fi, you'd be like, I'm not paying, I'm not staying there. Now, you go to a hotel and they're like, no Wi-Fi, pay extra. So it's all in the marketing, everyone. So again, with unplugging, I think that there's some really beautiful things that happen in our lives when we take the time. I recently saw some students came up with these stickers that they put on playgrounds and children's schools saying, not available on the App Store, or actual like button stickers that you can put on things. I do not condone vandalizing the environment, by the way, with like button stickers, but you get the point. There's even a cool troupe that I came up with called Blogalogs, that I came across, that performs the internet. They travel around and you can actually be in real life and seeing the internet performed, like reading the best of Craigslist, and they're very, very funny. So here are my two little boys. I am like super in love with my little guys. I have Asher is 3.5 and Simi is 3 months old. This is actually my first speech that I've given since my maternity leave ended. And these boys have completely changed my views on technology because I used to have this tunnel vision, like, let's innovate and disrupt everything. But now, I see my boys and I say, you know what, I don't want them to grow up in a world where we're always glued to our phones and we're not present in our lives. I want my boys to grow up in a world where there's a healthy balance between tech and not tech. And recently, one of Asher's little friends came over to our house for a play date, saw my laptop and went, "Grandpa!" He Skypes so much he thinks his grandpa lives inside the computer. So this is the world that kids are growing up in, and that's why I think it's so important for us to have some balance. A few quotes I saw, 84% of respondents said they couldn't go for 1 day without their smartphones. I think the other 16% are lying. 50% of women would rather lose their engagement ring than lose their phone. Yep. There are actually some even racier stats than this in my book that I didn't know but there were like, for example, there was like 70% of women would rather go without sex than go without their iPhone, which to me says a little more about their partner than about their iPhone, but it's neither here nor there. Okay, just under 40% of Americans spend more time socializing online than off. Which is why I wrote my children's book, Dot, about a little girl who's super tech savvy but learns to go outside and play in the real world. Because, I think there's some really important morals in children's literature, such as, look before you leap, slow and steady wins the race, and turn off your effing phone. It's a good moral for a children's book, don't you think? So, since then, I've also published Dot Complicated, my book for adults, which is a lot of the trends that you've seen today, my story at Facebook. I also have a weekly radio show on Sirius XM where I dive into all of these trends in a lot of detail. You can listen to any of that. You can have me in your ear every single week if you'd like. And I even have my site, dotcomplicated.co, not .com, .co, which talks about all of these trends in detail too and how to find balance in our life. Before we wrap up, I have one final surprise for you, but I encourage everyone to try to think of one way that you're going to have unplugging play a part in your life. It could be that at your next dinner party, everyone puts their phone in the middle of the table. The first one to reach for it either does the dishes or pays the bill. That's a good one. Or how about this one? Just one day casually disconnect the router in your house and then just like stand there and wait and you'll have an impromptu family meeting. Everyone will come to you. Or set up an auto reply that kind of just automatically goes out every weekend telling people that you're a little less reachable on the weekend because you're having some unplugged time with your family. So thank you. So without further ado, I want to look at my phone, loaded with apps, Siri and Facebook and Apple Maps. Looking around here, you think, wow, she's got everything. I've got iPhones and Androids for poking. I've got a Fitbit that's truly divine. I've got a BlackBerry. No, I'm joking. But I long to live life more offline. I want to go where the people go. Bookstores, or somewhere that's still existent. There I could meet them and then we could, what's the word? Talk. Out where they date as they should. Somewhere where Tinder means only one. Out there free, I'd like to be part of that world. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. been super fun. Thank you.